Hey guys, it's Michelle again with First Priority Tampa Bay, and we have been trying to give you guys some great video tools to help you work through different emotions, to spot if you struggle with a different type of emotion in a significant way, and to give you some overarching principles on what to do to best care for yourself in that. Now, I am a professionally trained practicing biblical counselor, but the principles that I'll be addressing here today are not meant to be specific to your situation, but rather, again, overarching principles to help you figure out what's going on, what's causing your anger, and what to do about it. So when we look at the actual definition of anger, it's honestly not that surprising of a definition. It's extreme displeasure. It's a feeling, an intense feeling of an injustice. Anger is something that might happen when we are frustrated, annoyed. All of these are just words that say the same thing. We are over it. And so biologically, what happens with our anger is that our blood actually shifts. So when the body experiences anger, the blood in our body shifts away from our gut region and to our muscles. Why? Because anger makes us feel like we're going to need to spring into action. That's why a lot of your physical symptoms when you're angry might be things like sweating, you might have an increased heart rate, you might clench your jaws, you might clench your fists, but in general, you're gonna feel a lot more alert and you're gonna feel ready for action. And so all of us have an anger problem. Let me just get that right out the gate here. So everyone needs to be watching this video, and all of us live with or are friends with or in relationships with people that struggle with anger. And so what do I mean by that when I say that everybody struggles with anger? Well, it's simple. A lot of times we think that anger is something that is really, that an anger problem is something that is someone who's really expressive in their anger. So they might slam doors, put their fist through the wall. They might try to hit somebody. They would say really mean things to other people or shout very loudly. These are people that might throw things. And so we think, oh, those people have anger problems. And for sure they do. But a lot of us also experience anger in much milder ways. So there's two types of anger if we're thinking about all out enraged anger. One is explosive. So explosive would be all of the things I just described. It would be someone who is outwardly venting and sharing their anger. They are quick to share that annoyance and they're going to do it really forcefully. And then there's the other kind of anger, which a lot of people struggle with. And honestly, it's just as destructive, except the damage is occurring inside of us. And so that is called the imploder. So there's the exploder who gets it all out and wreaks havoc on everybody else and everything around it. And then there's the imploder who wreaks havoc on themselves. And that might seem like you have a better handle on your anger, but regardless, either extreme is not safe. So an imploder is more likely to dwell on bitterness. They're more likely to let that bitterness control them. They're going to be more likely to be cynical. They're going to snap at their loved ones more often. And all the while, their anger is emotionally eating them up on the inside. So it's going to exhaust them. It's going to make them more likely to snap. And eventually the imploder will explode. And whatever that looks like might be different for that person. They may never yell or punch a wall. Their anger may end up coming out in the just other destructive ways, like substance abuse or any number of other things that are destructive. And then I also want to make it clear that even outside of an intense anger expression, whether it's an exploder or an imploder, there's also just variations, various levels of anger. So if I say I'm so annoyed, or this traffic's making me crazy, I'm frustrated, all of these words are pointing to an anger problem. So now that we've established that all of us have an anger problem, here's the good news. There is one question that you can ask to get to the root of your anger, to figure out what the heck it is that is actually causing your anger. Because sometimes it's very obvious. Sometimes we will hear of a news on the story where somebody did something horrible to someone and they got away with it, and we are angry. And so we know why we're angry. We're angry because there was an injustice. But most of our anger is something where we point a finger at what we think is causing the problem, but it's not actually the problem. So the question that I want you to start asking yourself, whether you're just a little bit annoyed or a bit angry, is this: what hurts and what am I afraid of? Now, anger is always, always, always one of the two things. You are either afraid of something, or someone has hurt you, or something has hurt you. Now, I know that can sound strange because when you think about the things that annoy you, you might say something like, I get annoyed by crowds of people, so there's no way I'm afraid. But fear goes a lot deeper than the visceral response of fear. If I'm afraid of someone hurting me, fear can also be me fearing losing comfort. So let's say that I was planning at the end of today to just climb in bed, find my favorite movie, and eat ice cream and go to bed. But instead, what happens is that I end up getting a phone call and my neighbor has a flat tire and I have to go help them. And now my weekend, or my evening of rest is ruined. And so I'm going to get angry. So what happened? Did they hurt my feelings? No, their tire's flat. They haven't done anything to me. But I fear losing comfort. Maybe I fear that I don't have the ability to say no. Maybe this neighbor has asked a lot of me and I fear it's never going to stop. So when you think of what am I afraid of, I want you to think about what am I afraid of losing or what am I afraid of not getting? And so that's going to really help you to zone in on some of your specific annoyances. You know, again, I'll use a silly example. You might be annoyed that your friend chews her gum so loud beside you. So again, what am I afraid of? What has hurt my feelings? Nothing's hurt my feelings. Am I afraid that my friend's gonna smack her gum so hard it's gonna hurt me? Of course not. But again, it annoys me. I am losing my comfort. Or maybe I feel like I have a friend that always says no to hanging out with me and I get angry. Well, it hurts me for sure. But then I also might fear what they think of me. I might fear that they think I'm just really boring or I'm not worth spending time with. So again, one question and one question only, and it's going to help you to really do business with what's causing your anger. What am I afraid of? And it could actually be an unjust situation or a physical circumstance. But more often than not, it's going to be, what do I fear losing? What do I fear that I will never get? And then after you get to the root of that, asking that question, now you know what to work with. Because if I'm mad because my neighbor's got a flat tire and I have to go help them, then that's not actually a reason for me to show up on site and be mad. Instead, on that drive over, I could be asking myself, well, what am I afraid of? Well, I'm bummed that I lost my comfortable evening. Okay, so let me talk to God about that, and then let me brainstorm other ways that I can relax later on, and let me not take it out on this person because it's not their fault. So that's gonna help us a lot with our relationships. It's gonna give us a lot of peace, and it's just gonna help us to do business with these things. A lot of our anger will stem from the thoughts we have about somebody else. Maybe they have done something and we just keep replaying it over and over and over again in our head. And so again, it's an unjust thing that happened. And so we're going to feel that anger and we're going to just stay in that place. That's why forgiveness is so huge, guys. You know, a lot of times when people, think of something that someone's done to them, they'll say, I could never forgive them. And so then they just keep meditating on that. But really and truly, forgiveness is simply this. Even if that person is not sorry for what they did, even if they don't think they did anything wrong, forgiveness is just you saying, hey, God, I know you got me. So I'm going to give that to you and I'm going to choose to not meditate on that anymore. It is not my job to make this situation right. I am going to take active steps to protect myself from an unhealthy situation, and I'm going to trust you with that. But I'm going to choose to not meditate on what they've done and get angry about it. So having these good conversations with God is going to be key to getting down to the root issue. And then if you're wanting some physical help, if you're just having a day where you are like, I am just frustrated and I really can't get a handle on it, again, go to exercise. Doing a 30-minute all-out workout, a 45-minute all-out workout, whatever that looks like for you based on your fitness level is going to help so much. Also, HIIT workouts, doing a 10-minute HIIT workout where you're doing 45 seconds of push-ups, 15 seconds of rest, 45 seconds of jumping jacks, 15 seconds of rest. This can be really good practically for that anger. But again, what am I afraid of? And what hurts, and then have a conversation with God and then with someone you trust. And that, guys, is going to be a game changer. It's going to help you so much, set you free from that anger. I hope this video helps you. I hope it encourages you. I know that this personally, for me, when I started asking these deeper questions, I can tell you firsthand, my anger struggles definitely transformed pretty quickly. And so it definitely is something that I'm excited for you to try. And we'll see you soon for the next video. Bye, guys.